did it again. I don't think anybody's even here. Is anybody even here?
They'll be here. No.
Is there anybody even here?
This is gonna be the you know what? I don't even mind anymore. This is just the way Curtis opens up the show. Go ahead, Curtis. Tell them where we're at.
I don't even know if anybody's even here, dude. Did I program it right? I think I had it at 8:30 in the morning. Scheduled, and usually you have people
getting up. You have people getting up at 8:30 in the morning. I'm gonna verify. Hold on.
Verify.
Yeah. We are. We're live.
We're live.
We're live, baby. It's just the problem was you have people waking up 8:30, and now they're back to sleep. All right, go ahead.
Oh man, well, I guess you gotta break a few eggs to get an omelet, man. So I don't know if anybody's gonna pay attention to this thing. This could be just you and me talking for a couple of hours.
It could be. It could be.
Let's rock and roll, huh?
Let's rock and roll, man.
Well, this is NFL Overtime with Tommy and Curtis, ready to talk some serious football. And unfortunately, if you really want a good, punctual, and excellent show, you need to go to Tommy and me over on his channel because he's not going to screw it up like I am. So anyway,
it's all good, man.
I want to be in the woods making with sticks and stones and hunting and this tech stuff, man, is wizardry, dude. I don't got it. Anyway, but I do know football, Tommy. I do know football. So I think I do a little bit. I think I do. I don't know. Tom and I were talking about this headset thing over here. I feel like I'm an airlines pilot, and I'm not even talking football now. I can't stand this headset. But all right. So anyway, on to the football stuff. We got Colts and Broncos last night with some of the best football anyone has ever seen in the history of mankind. It was riveting. It was exciting. My blood was pulsing from the beginning to the very end, whenever that was, because I didn't watch it end. So what did you think about that, Tommy?
Well, I was working, but I work at a sports bar, so luckily I'm able to watch the game. But yeah, I wasn't, put it this way, the bar was very quiet for a Thursday night football game, and wasn't a lot going on, which seems to be the case for both the Broncos and the Colts this season. They're both just disappointing teams, especially the Broncos, who were supposed to be a team that is going to the playoffs. They got this whole Russell Wilson got paid. All right,
Tommy, wait. Yeah, we're gonna use our high tech over here.
Oh, there it. Yeah,
I got buttons now. Keep going. I had to use that button.
Curtis is learning. But yeah, they're not what everybody thought they would be, at least right now. Now, could things turn around? Sure, it's early, but I don't like their coach. I don't like the way Russell Wilson's playing. I don't like the way Russell Wilson is, even his demeanor. I don't like any of it. And then as far as the Colts go, I like Frank Reich as a head coach, but I just think the quarterback situation, and I know you're a Matt Ryan fan.
Wait.
Yeah, go ahead. Time for the boo. Let me hear it.
Yeah. You got it wrong. Sorry, guys. I got seven buttons to touch.
It's not that I'm wrong on it. And I think a lot of people may agree with that, with what I'm saying. So it's not, so hear me out. I'm not saying Matt Ryan's a bad quarterback or it was a bad decision to get Matt Ryan. However, the Colts are eventually going to have to realize they need to get a young quarterback in there, a rookie quarterback. And it would have been great. And maybe there wasn't on this year to go under Matt Ryan, to learn under Matt Ryan. But, it seems like now this is Frank Reich's theme, like to go and get older quarterbacks, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, which was a total disaster. And Matt Ryan right now, under an offensive line that was supposed to be better or at least decent, and he's just under siege. And Matt Ryan is just not the kind of quarterback that can escape like a Josh Allen or even a semi, quarterback that even Mac Jones, who's not like a guy that can run a lot, but he still, you can see him get away a little bit, run a little bit. Matt Ryan is not that guy. And that's why he's taking a lot of hits, like a lot of sacks, a lot of batted balls, a lot of he's throwing the ball. He's getting rid of the ball early so he doesn't get hit. He's taking a little bit more chances.
He's getting a little punch drunk too. I think. All right.
Yeah.
This is
go
my
ahead. Go ahead, Curtis.
To me, Matt Ryan is like the rich older guy. He goes to Vegas, gets liquored up, and he finds the blonde girl at the bar, and he's off with Elvis getting married. And he's like, I found a girl of my dreams. And he wakes up the next morning, and he finds out the hair ain't real, the eyelashes ain't real, the rest of the stuff underneath the dress ain't real, and his bank account's been cleaned out. Because the deal was he's going to a quality offensive line, a quality defense, a high-end, number one running game in the league, and he's supposed to be the icing on the cake to manage the whole thing, to make the right passes, and to help a few clutch plays. Now, they're ranked, they got the one extra game, so it looks good if you check the stats now, but within 4 games before last night, they're bottom 10th in the league in rushing. And obviously Taylor's out, but even when he was in, they didn't do good.
Yeah.
They went into the game last night and flipped their tackles trying to be like, to figure out what's going on. This is a high-priced offensive line. And listen, I'll say this and I'll say it again. And I see it all the time. Matt Ryan looks like he's done. Dude, this guy is the guy carrying this team to 2 wins. Yeah, he's made mistakes. He's dropped the football almost, but it doesn't matter. He's still the guy putting all the production on. I think they're, what are they? I forgot what their pass yards are. It's really, really high. 15th in the league as far as passing with receivers that have gone down. And I don't care. Josh Allen, Mahomes, maybe you want to put Herbert in there. These guys don't need the same kind of offensive line. They can make hay. They still need at least an average. They can make hay with less because of the mobility and their skills. But Tom Brady, you can see this year, he's not as good as he was last year because offensive line's broken down. You could take a good look at Jimmy Johnson. He had the greatest team in the universe. Yes, he had Aikman and Irvin and Emmett, but it was that offensive line. I remember a Packers game where Aikman was hurt. He had bad ribs. He says, guys, I can't get hit this game. The guy wasn't even touched.
Yeah.
So offensive line, and some really good comments on a video I did that people are saying, well, why is it? Why is there so much bad football? And it directly ties into the offensive line. Some people are saying because kids are coming up too early. The reality is you used to have 2-a-days, loads of practice, and you need that chemistry. You need those reps to have a quality offensive line. And as this offensive line's breaking down, everything else is going around it. And Ryan, to me, yes, he's making mistakes. But if you gave him the number 5 or number 1 running attack, what would he look like?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I 100% agree. However, I'm going back to what I said earlier.
Wait, my headphones aren't working, Tommy. Yeah. I can't hear them. I can't hear what you're saying.
It's just really or no? You're right.
No, I'm lying.
I'm telling you, the Colts are. This could listen. Frank, like I said before, I like Frank Reich, but this could really honestly cost him his job if this doesn't work out. And I'm not saying I don't agree with you about the O-line because that has a lot to do with what's going on. But ultimately, this is his team. This is his 3rd quarterback, right? A 3rd older quarterback. And if it doesn't work out this season, even though, like you said, the running game's not going, the offensive line's not working out, the receivers aren't really helping out either, it doesn't matter. This will all come back to Frank Reich and the quarterback decision. And the fans. The fans aren't gonna, trust me, the fans they have a short fuse when it comes to quarterbacks, right? Especially when one's not working out, especially when the last one didn't work out, which was Carson Wentz. Big mistake. So I think ultimately you're right when it comes to Matt Ryan. If he had the pieces, offensive line to protect him, especially offensive line to protect him, and the running game to get going, which is weird because Jonathan Taylor is such a dynamic running back. But because he doesn't have that, he's going to continue to struggle. You're going to continue to see these kind of games.
Hey, we got a guy.
Hey, there you go.
There we go. We are on. Hey, brother.
We are. So yeah, so that's how I feel about that situation with the Colts and Matt Ryan. And like I said, he's not a bad quarterback, Curtis. He's just not in a great situation right now, and it may not work out because of that.
Well, here I believe in when I evaluate, and when I was a fan, like totally fan, I had no patience.
Mm-hmm.
And I've really tried to take a different mindset of evaluation and patience. Right now, they're 2-2-1.
Yeah.
And the Titans, they got the edge because of the win. They play them next week again. And there's really, hey, Don, thank you for stopping by, brother. And they are still, Texans are nothing. They're going to be nothing. Jags are kind of imploding. So there's still opportunity. I think we need to let it play out and see how it goes. I do believe the Colts still have the opportunity to find their way.
But my question is, how long do the Colts front office, the GM, let's say, even the coach, go forward with Matt Ryan? Meaning, what are we talking about? Another season? And then and you know what I mean? Let's say they give him another season though. Right? Don't you think they still should bring in somebody, get a young guy?
Unless you got Josh Allen.
Right.
And even if you got if you got Josh Allen and your team's stacked and you've got, a quarterback that falls to the second round and you can really kind of fit that guy on your roster, you take him because they're assets. You know what I'm saying? It sounds bad, but you can get something for these guys. Why not look at Montana and Young? I don't think they were crying over spilt milk over that.
No, but it was a big difference in age as well. And I agree with you there. Like Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, right? Kansas City, they had who was the quarterback before Mahomes that was sitting there? Wasn't a bad quarterback. Alex Smith.
Yes,
Alex Smith. So, if they're going to have to do that, or it's going to be just bad. But my point is, one, if the offensive line is this bad, and he's taking hits with his age, is he even going to make it this season?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Matt Ryan's, he's not a young sprung chicken.
No.
You know what I mean? He's taking hits. He looked really upset on the sideline too. You could tell he's super frustrated. He's also making bad decisions, like I said, because he's trying to not get sacked. He's trying just to make anything happen, and that's obviously not a good thing. So, that's how I feel.
So, what about Wilson? Then we'll get on the Dolphins. We got Dolphin Don here, so we better talk about the Dolphins in a minute. I gotta have a laugher, and I think Don will appreciate this too, because just imagine. All you see is the memes of it's Broncos country. Let's ride. It's like planes crashing.
Let's ride. Let's ride.
Let's ride. Dude, you see him. To me, Russell Wilson has. You see him walk away from the podium. He's like, "It's Broncos country. That's right." He's like I think like a body snatcher. It's like he's not even on the planet Earth anymore. They must be livid. All the picks. All the money. Man, I feel bad for a fan base like that. That is terrible. Yes, it's terrible, Don.
Terrible. It's terrible.
All right. So anyway, you had a doctor on your channel, and he was going over injuries. And I'm going to talk about the Dolphins first, and then we'll get to the Bills. And because I still, I think you got a lot of information to bring to us. You said the doctor had quickly mentioned some stuff about Tua and the process, and he's kind of a fairly decent doctor, not a head doctor. He's a wrist doctor or something like that, bone doctor. But if you want to tell us what he was mentioning.
So yeah, I had Kyle Trimble on. He is with banged up Bills, and just really going over the injury report in itself with the Buffalo Bills and injuries with concussions. We talked also about the ongoing issue with turf to grass, which a lot of players.
You didn't tell me about that.
Yeah, so a lot of players are wanting, to play strictly on grass. And I was asking him if there's a big difference with on the joints between grass and turf. He's saying they're very, very similar, but he still thinks playing on grass would be the better bet for these players long run, because there's just not a lot of give that grass and mud and dirt can give. However, he doesn't see the NFL changing it because he was saying every stadium, is different, like with weather and how, then you got to pull the grass up there, the grass could get affected. And, so he's saying he doesn't think it'll ever happen. He thinks it just every stadium will have still turf and grass. It just depends on where you go. So he doesn't see that happening anytime soon, but who knows? He says, who knows? He's not the NFL. We talked about the concussions, especially with the Tua thing, which it was still a debate, still a thing going on.
You brought up a great point with the Colts running back who got knocked out.
And Colts running back receiver.
Exactly like Tua.
Oh, dude. So he was doing the drunk walk.
Yeah.
Same type, not the same type of hit Tua took against the Bills on Sunday 2 weeks ago, but similar where it was kind of he fell a certain way. Maybe he got whiplash with his head. Maybe he hit a little bit real quick on the ground. He got up and did the drunk walk. So he walked a little bit, stumbled. Same thing. I mean, to a T. Watch the replay if you haven't watched it. They took him out of the game. Obviously, never came back. Yeah. He was out of
protocols. They got the new. And that's the one thing. That's the one thing. I don't care. If you like Tua or you don't like Tua, or you think he was concussed or you don't think he was concussed.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Demaryius Thomas, how that guy ended his life about 33, 34 years old. And whatever happened to Tua, whether it was a concussion against the Bills or not, they are being now somewhat serious about concussions and pulling these guys out. And as soon as you see gross motor anomalies, they're saying, all right, it might be the back. It might not be a concussion, but you're out. You're out. And that's the way it should be.
Yeah. And I,
that's a good thing.
I also think that with all the technology that they have, right? Even though the doc may say, I think he's okay past the concussion, whatever they talked about, whatever questions were given to the player. I think, man, listen, you got to also look at the film. I mean, you have time. You have multiple coaches with the iPads or the Surface Pros that could see, even if you didn't see it on the field, you could still see something's not right. And why risk it? Why risk it? So I don't understand. He was saying that it's very possible that your coach, McDaniel, maybe didn't see.
He might.
He's just going with that. Young. Yeah, and they also say, he said, listen, a lot of the times these guys go back to the doctor right away. The coaches don't even really the coaches go to the doctor and say, is he good? And they say, and they don't really question the player too much, the coaches, but they should. And maybe the NFL will change that moving forward. I don't know, but I have a feeling they will, and they don't want to get sued. They don't want this.
Bahamas, man.
Yeah,
I haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah, but it was enlightening. He said a lot of interesting thing about injuries, leg injuries, hamstring, how long it take every play. There's certain.
I gotta check that show out, man.
Yeah. There's certain 1, 2 or something on a hamstring, how bad it could be. So yeah, we'll see. But it was an interesting show. He had a lot of Interesting
you got a great
topic.
show. That's a great find, man. I'm jealous. Good
Got to
find.
get you a dolphin injury guy on.
Yeah, man. We need it.
A dolphin doctor.
We got 17 guys on the injury report this
You guys
week.
you should hire the guy that got fired.
He needs a job.
Come on. He's like, he is fine. He was fine.
Totally fine. Totally. Man, crazy business.
Yeah, right.
All right, so from what I'm hearing now, the Tua is actually going to outside doctors. Now, that could be, to me, it could mean nothing. But it's interesting that he's going outside the NFL circles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get to that, socks off. Yeah, I do. And I have some concerns with that. And so if it would be to me, if Tua was concussed, I got to believe that, like, maybe he was like, I just had a headache. It wasn't nothing, blah, blah, blah. But I think he'll be honest now. But the fact that he's going outside, it could mean he's like, all right, listen, this is a real big deal. And that could be nothing. It could be nothing.
I mean, yeah.
But I think his family, if you go back, I'll check. I'll get on it. If you go back and you go to see, this is so much to talk about. I don't want to stick on it too much, but a lot of fans right now, they're like, I love Tua. He's hurt. This is the worst. But they were cheering when Stephen Ross and Chris Greer came in and forced him in 2020. And you can go back and check the interviews. And he was talking, and he was like, my father was like, what? They're putting you in after a couple of reps? Like making a joke of it. And he said his mother was getting scared. He's like, well, you know how moms are when your son gets really hurt and you go in, they get worried. And he was put in harm's way. Gailey, Flores, like, if he was my kid, I wouldn't play 2 weeks earlier. And then he's in. It was leaked. So this kid's been compromised all the way back from 2020. And I think the fans that really love him and are outraged now need to go back to that moment and realize this has been a long-standing thing. And he was just as in much jeopardy then as he is now.
Oh, yeah.
And we got to kind of see the whole picture. Through that whole process, from that first moment to now, Ross was in the background trying to get Brady, trying to get Washington, calling me up, hey, I need a quarterback. But then he goes to the podium and says, he's my guy, I support him. And, but unless the other coach doesn't want him, but he had Peyton. There is so much stuff in the background. It doesn't mean that he was concussed the first time, but there's so much stuff in the background. And I'm hoping that Tua, whatever, clears the air with the Dolphins organization, and it looks like he's helping the league out as far as these players, because they're suffering, man. They are really suffering. Hey, thanks, man. Thank you, Kenshin.
Problem I see with Tua, though, and it dates back since high school, where he's just injuries followed him everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like I almost see him as like a cracked windshield. And it starts slow.
He's got an injury history.
Yeah. So it starts slow. And, if you leave it alone, it keeps getting bigger and bigger, that cracked windshield. Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling like this is how his career is going to go. And you're going to see that crack get bigger and bigger and bigger.
If you go back and look at the old-time quarterbacks, so many of them were like that. But when you can run to me, it's if you have somebody in your life, you understand their strengths and you understand their weaknesses, and you try to create a framework to best support them. Like, I have a son, super smart, but he's got ADHD. And I can't treat him the same way as my daughter. My daughter is like a little German girl. I tell her to do something and she's like, Daddy, and just, but him, it's like I got to treat him differently. Tua should have been set up with a good offensive line and a run game to protect him. He was going to have his dings and holes, but you got to mitigate it. And it goes back again to the framework, to the ownership. But I want to get on to this. So do you guys think the Jets are being overlooked and could beat the Dolphins? Actually,
weird, man.
No, listen, the Jets
are a weird team.
Very interesting team, guys.
They're weird.
Fan,
I don't know what to think.
Well, because they're developing. They're in year 2 of their process. And you take Sauce Gardner and you take Reed, are both top cornerbacks. I mean, Reed's like playing like top 15, and Sauce is a rookie, is in a mix of like top 32 corners already. And then you got Hill with a quad injury. You got Waddle with a groin injury. And so even if you want to say Hill and Waddle are the more dangerous weapons, they're getting mitigated because of those injuries. And you got those two corners to kind of slow that down. And they're ranked like, I think it's 13th in pass defense. And 13th in run defense and like 16th in pass defense.
Middle of the pack defense.
Yeah, but they're good enough, and they can get after the quarterback. Quinnen Williams is so dangerous. I watched him. I've been watching some reps of his, and he can actually get to the quarterback on stunts. And a stunt is a very dangerous thing for the Dolphins because you got Tehran, my man Tehran, who I love. Like, I mean, you don't understand. Now, I'm an offensive line guy, and to have that kind of tape and to enjoy it, but my man Tehran is not the same guy. Last week's film showed hit that toe and that leg, and the lack of reps are sucking him dry. He still played good, but then Eichenberg is the worst left guard in the game, and he is so susceptible to stunts. And so the pressure with Lawson and Myers, to me, it all comes down to this. I believe the Dolphins can win. I believe they should win based on all that they've spent. They're in the 4th year of their build, but it's going to come down to the offensive line. Teddy is not Teddy terrible. He can win you games, but you got to give him a run game. You got to give him a little protection. And so Greer set up his framework. He set up his strategy to build this team. Now we get to see it. We get to see over the next 4 weeks against the Jets, against who's the next one? I think I went blank here. Who's the next team? Pittsburgh's after that. Oh yeah, Vikings, Pittsburgh, and then Detroit. And those guys are going to be very. They weren't supposed to be.
Well, you play Minnesota week 6, you guys.
Yeah,
so you play Minnesota. Yeah, next week. Yep.
And then who's
and then you guys play Pittsburgh week 7.
So each one of those teams is dangerous. Jets are going to be dangerous. We're away. They've got Lions. 2 good cornerbacks, and they can bring some pressure, and they pass really well. And Howard's injured, and you got a very thin secondary. Yeah. So our offensive line is going to have to protect, put points on, and we're going to have to they got a weak line too. So they got to beat up offensive line too. But they're doing a lot more with their offensive line than we are. We are ranked 30th, I think, in yards before contact, 2.1. That's the same thing we averaged last year without Tehran and without Connor. It's inexcusable. This next 4 games, our offensive line has to support this team, and we have to win. If not, you got to not look at McDaniel. He's shown he can win. You can't blame Tua. He's not there, and he's shown he can win. You got super talented receivers. You've got a great front. You got Holland on the back end, and you got a thin cornerback group, and that you can kind of talk to Greer. But the bottom line is you've dumped everything and its mother on this offensive line. It should step up. I am concerned, but I'm gonna wait to see what happens. And this is gonna really determine our framework and our team. And it really needs to be all about Greer this week, Greer next week, Greer the week after that, and the Greer the week after that. And that's really my take.
Yeah. I have this game. I'm going to pick the Jets because I just don't like your Dolphins. However,
wait.
That's a selfish me.
Oh man,
that's the selfish part of me. But I will say this: I feel like your defense has definitely come around the last game and a half, 2 games, kind of. I thought they kept you in it in the Bengals game. They just couldn't. I think your offense made that huge mistake towards the end with the interception with Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, you guys were in that game. And then obviously against us was just a grind out game. I can't really make an excuse. You guys brung really good pressure
Yeah.
against our beaten up offensive line, but no. And I felt like you guys in the second half of the Baltimore game really adjusted well against.
Yeah.
And I think you only held them to 10 points or something in the second half. So your defense has been playing well. The only thing is no Howard, I don't think, is playing this game, which is a huge
Well, we don't
loss.
know. We don't know. We don't
Oh,
know.
so he's questionable.
He
Okay.
didn't practice
Well,
all week.
so I guess so he's up in the air. Either
But
way,
yeah,
he probably won't. He won't be 100, right?
Those
Exactly.
receivers.
But I'm not a fan of Zach Wilson. I got to be honest with you. I'm just not. The Jets have been hanging around in games early because Flacco actually I was surprised, was doing very well. Zach Wilson came out last week. He struggled. And then he kind of had a good fourth quarter that led him to beat Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh has no offense. And it kind of helped him out. So I'm going to, like I said, selfish me, I have the Jets beating you guys. But
it's bad if we lose. If we lose, just imagine. Think about it this way, Tommy. I have very little hair left. Okay, and I think I lost a lot more. As soon as I got married, my hair started falling out. I don't know if that's coincidence. I don't know. But then as soon as I started covering the Dolphins about 8 years ago, it really fell out. And if at this stage the Jets beat us, and we're third in the division because they win the tiebreaker because they're the same record.
Correct.
And we got to go against the Vikings, and then we got to go against Pittsburgh with Flores, who's been probably drawing up the game plan.
Oh yeah. Well, and any Mike Tomlin team is going to be a
I love Tomlin.
Yeah. So I agree with you.
We didn't want
I agree with you. Well, I will say you're playing in New York, right?
Tommy. Stephen Ross didn't want Tomlin because he was too hip hop, so he went with Philbin.
Don't want that hip hop around my players, pal.
Oh my!
Get that hip hop out of here.
Give me Philbin, young Don Shula.
No, but man, I will say this. You know how I could see this game going for the first 3 quarters? Maybe a grind out type of game.
Yeah.
For a little bit low scoring, maybe like 13-16 heading into the fourth quarter, something like that. And then maybe it's going to be all about turnovers in that fourth quarter.
Turnovers, that's the key. That's going to be the sacks and turnovers.
Yeah.
Because Teddy, people.
He's a good backup. I told you that.
We're in a world where everything is painted in pictures of black and white, great and terrible. You could have taken Teddy and put him on that Tampa team with Brad Johnson, and he could have won that Super Bowl. I mean, I might have been able with it too. This guy has some qualities. He's got some good qualities.
Accurate.
He's not Tua. Listen, some people, he's not. He's a little bit faster than Tua on the move, like to get out. But he doesn't have the short area quickness. Tua's got great short area quickness and agility, and he doesn't have the release or the accuracy and anticipation. And Tua, with those skill sets, is able to, if you go back and watch him over the last 2 years, he should have been sacked 1 million times. But that quick release gets the ball out. And so he's able to lift up a weaker offensive line. And you saw when Teddy came in, they changed the way they blitzed, the way they attacked, because they understood a little bit better that with the RPO, it doesn't come out as quick. On play actions, it doesn't come out as quick. And a split second doesn't seem like a lot. But when you look at the windows, how they shrink very quickly, it does. And so they're able to attack him different. They're going to have to protect him. He can do some stuff with protection. And that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. But I don't think the accurate listen, Bridgewater's accuracy, he's always been a pretty good accuracy. Accurate quarterback.
No.
He's in the 60s.
Two is more accurate, though.
He is, but I don't think it's such a drastic fall, is what I'm trying to say. It's not you're going down to a 59% career. Like Matt Barkley's, I think 58.5 completion percentage. It's not.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't think you lose too much with that is what I'm saying. That side, like accuracy wise.
Well, okay,
But the other things I agree with.
Wait, I want to retort.
Yeah.
We're the number one. Number one in play action in the league, and I think we're number 3 in RPO plays. So if you took all of our plays, 1 and 3 in some kind of action, and that action to set and throw, that time differential is critical. It's so critical, and it's why Tua, he does make a difference. Teddy does have a semi-quick release, but I think you're going to see a difference.
No, that you will, of course. They're two different kind of players. I'm not saying you won't see a difference. I'm just saying, as far as accuracy goes, I think they're very, very close as far as that goes. You're not having a big drop off there on accuracy. You're missing some other stuff that Tua does better, or a lot better, or is just way different of a quarterback than Bridgewater. But Bridgewater brings you the vet experience. Right? He's been around the NFL a while now. That's a great thing to have. He's pretty damn accurate. I'll be honest with you. He's in the 60%, 64%. He has a pretty good arm.
What do you think about this comment?
Yeah. Tua won't throw the ball away. I don't think it's about, I don't agree with it. I think Tua, my thing with Tua is because of all the injuries, he's mainly a pocket passer who should move more or get out of the pocket more, and he just can't, maybe due to the injuries, or maybe that's just the way he plays, though I think it will prolong his career if he starts to get out of the pocket more, and be able to be more mobile. I think being a pocket passer with his body frame and his injury history is going to really shorten his career. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's taken too many hits. He's not a big frame quarterback. He doesn't move out of the pocket very well. He shifts around well, but you see when defenders get a hold of him, he's like a rag doll. You can't. He's not a very big. He's not built like a Russell Wilson, even though Russell Wilson is not what he is now. But Russell Wilson's same height, I believe, but he's also built shorter. A little shorter, but he's built like kind of like a tank in a way. He could take those things.
So we had
and he also got out of the pocket.
Tua's only 5 pounds less than Allen,
which is wild. He doesn't, but look at his body frame though. You know what I mean?
No,
his body frame doesn't. Right. So, and Allen once again gets out of the pocket. He's not taking these hits where he's getting thrown around. You know what I mean? Not saying Allen doesn't take hits. I'm just saying it's a little bit different. So we'll see. I mean, unless you guys really build up your offensive line, Tua's always going to be in danger of taking hits and getting hurt.
Look, it's so interesting too. You go look at what they did with the Chargers. They built a really good offensive line, but he got hurt, and then they are not able to run the football.
Typical Chargers. I told you about that.
That's so crazy. It's so crazy. To me, I can't get it right. I think the running of the football has become so undervalued. Yeah. But I think the value is still so high because
it is.
These guys, even with Allen, I've been preaching the run game for Allen forever. Just imagine if you have a defense that's focusing on the run game and then still has a potent passer. And then if you think about it, you take away all these drops from the quarterback, how many less opportunities get injured? Yeah. I think the run game is critical. Anyway,
it is. I agree. It's not a thing anymore, or at least teams for some reason don't focus on it more, and
big thing.
Yeah. And I think they shy away from it once it doesn't seem to work for the first couple drives. Yeah, no patience. And they just start, like I told you before, I don't even mind if you go opposite, because normally it's run to open up the pass, right? That's how you do play actions, all that. I don't even mind if it's the opposite, pass to open up the run. But if you don't run at all, then you're not doing any, you know what I mean? You're not going to open up anything, because you could pass to open up the run. We've done that in the past. You'll see some chunk yards in the third quarter by a running back or one of our running backs because teams aren't now they're just playing to pass all the time. But you sneak in a run there or draw, you'll see a big chunk of yards.
Oh, I know. And then the defense. Just remember,
and the defense is wore down.
If you're a linebacker and you know how hard it is for linebackers to cover now. It's so hard to find. And I give Milano so much credit. That guy is such a good linebacker.
I told you,
man. I was going to do a film study.
Underpaid, man.
I wanted to do a film study because linebackers are really good. Linebackers are so rare now because it's so difficult to find a guy who can play to run and play to pass.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main thing that I really wonder with offensive coordinators. It's known the linebacker position is the hardest position in defense these days because it's hard to find guys to do both. And I don't know why offensive coordinators don't stress this, issue more by adding in a balanced offense. But Milano, man, he is good. He's good.
I know.
All right, so before we'll do the Bills next, but I want to answer this. What's my win-loss prediction over the next 3 games? I don't really like predictions because week to week things change so much. I really like to take it as an evaluator. But I'll say this. If we lose to the Jets, we'll lose to the Vikings, and we'll probably lose to the Pittsburgh, and we'll probably lose to Detroit. Because the only reason we're going to lose is because the offensive line folds. Robert Jones had a bad back. He's not playing. So you're going to have to rely on Eichenberg, Connor, Hunt, and Little. And Jackson, I think, might be able to come back next week. And Tehran hasn't practiced in 2 to 3 weeks. And he's not going to get better. And so we should not lose if we bring protection. If we cannot protect and we lose, I think it's going to be 2 and the best we could see is 2-2 over the next 4 games. But if we beat the Jets and this offensive line plays up and does what they need to, I think we'll go 3-1. But it's all about the offensive line for me. So, but that's just my evaluation, my prediction, which is sketchy because you never know who's going down. Anyway, what do you think? What's your prediction?
Don't talk to me about injuries.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about your injuries.
I don't know.
All the Dolphin fans are now going to run. We're talking Bills, guys.
Yeah, it's Bills talk, baby.
Bills talk.
All right.
It's only going to be 2 minutes. He talks 2 minutes Bills and then we kick him off. No,
hold on. I do want to. Hold on. I did have something. Let me look it up while you're talking here, real quick.
All right. So, but then before we get to that, I really want to do a bunch of topics, but we don't have really. I don't drag this thing on too long. But a very interesting topic to me is, and I see it with Dolphin fans a lot, especially last year. We got to get a top quarterback. If we don't get a top quarterback, give everything, sell the farm. You can take my girlfriend. Just get me the quarterback. You look at Denver, they did it. No bueno. Look what San Fran did to get Lance. No bueno. Now they're back to Jimmy G, and they're winning. And you got to ask yourself, is this desperation? Look at the Browns with Watson. How is that working for them? Well, we'll see in a couple of weeks. But there's a lot of teams that have went hard and heavy, and they struck out hard.
Yeah, I just sent you over that. Pop that up real quick. Yeah.
Oh man, I know. Look at that. That's not a good look.
Yeah.
Nice
so yeah, wonderful. As you know, Micah Hyde done for the season. That's scary. I will say this, by the way. And the doctor got Kyle Trimble actually
They're
talked
worried about the long term with his neck.
Because if you look at the injury, and I know a lot of your chat is Dolphin fans, but if you go back to Aaron Williams, I don't know if you remember him for the Buffalo Bills. He was a cornerback. He was actually pretty good. He had the same type of injury through his neck the same way on making a tackle against Edelman, against the Patriots, Julian Edelman.
Yeah.
And the way his neck kind of pushed in,
compresses the vertebrae.
Compressed, yeah. And Aaron Williams came back a year later, had this got hit by Landry I believe, on the Dolphins, blindsided him.
Oh, I remember that.
And that was it. His career was over. Had to retire because his neck just couldn't. He could have got paralyzed eventually. So
Yeah.
Also Eric Wood, if you recall, Eric Wood, a center for the Buffalo Bills,
Yeah.
really, really good. He didn't even know about this kind of injury, and he had his physical after the season, and they told him, "You're lucky because if you would have got hit a certain way, you would have been paralyzed." So we don't know yet.
That's the scariest thing ever, man. That's the most terrifying thing ever. I'd rather die.
So he's saying that it could be something that they just put like some kind of disc or plate or something back there, and no problem. There's been players that's come back, no problem.
Not worth it.
But yeah, we'll see in the offseason how that works out. So that sucks for us. Trey White, it's not good that he hasn't been at practice yet, and people were hopeful he was going to play week 2, and that's not happening. So week 8, which I predicted, may not even happen, because if he's not practicing and we're going into week 5, then you got week 6 and week 7 bye week. You want to have him some kind of, because you got to remember in the bye week, they're not practicing. Bye weeks, they're off. They're getting rest. They're getting healthy. That's not a practice week. So you can't just put Trey in week 8 and expect him to play with no practice. So I don't know. He could be coming back week 10. Then you got Tremaine Edmonds that has a hamstring all of a sudden. He may not play this weekend. And Oliver's
out. Poyer's out too again, right?
Poyer's now, he was saying Poyer probably could play if it was more of an important kind of game. He probably could deal with it. It's a rib. So on that play that you saw against the Ravens, the interception, he kind of got his ribs banged up a little bit there. He probably could play, but they're saying that it's, better to keep him out this week. We got the Chiefs next week, big game, so they'll probably keep him out. We have good backups, so it's okay. But then you got Benford, the rookie who was playing real well. I told you about. He broke his hand. He's back. He's out at least probably another.
Knox is out too.
Knox is out with a foot ankle. He hurt against the Titans. He's out. You also got
Kumro, Crowder.
Yeah, so Crowder's out. Crowder's on the IR. He's probably done for the season. Broke his ankle. Jordan Phillips is still dealing with hamstring.
Who was that? Kumro?
No. Crowder broke his ankle. Yeah, broke his ankle last week. He's done. Totally. Yeah. The chance of him coming back is slim to none. And even if he was ready, let's say by the playoffs, he won't be 100%. So my point is, there's a lot of injuries there. There's a lot of lower leg injuries. A lot of these guys are week to week, which is fine, but we're getting really thin. So yeah, you can take that off now. So injuries happen, man. This is the craziest I've seen my team have.
Hey, Earl Dodge, did you want to know about teams playing, or you talk about the players playing? We're here to serve, brother.
You take that off. You can take that off. You just hit remove.
Oh yeah, I'll take that off. Yeah. All right, that's a lot of tech stuff here. How do you get that thing off, man?
You just hit remove.
There we go. I'm a little slow. All right, so you got Bills Ravens last week, and to me that was a really, really good game. Whew. It was a really, really good game.
Too close.
Too close. Close. Lamar and Allen. Lamar has really gotten better. I think he's a little.
He has.
Too conservative. Oh, Earl Dodge wants to know about the Bills players playing. We'll get into that as we get into that. We're going to do a Bills Pittsburgh next. So Allen showed once again that he's the guy, and he edged out the former MVP. But you saw the announcers. They were agreeing with Curtis, saying they're trying to get their run game going. It's very, very important. They really didn't get it going, but there was a little bit of life, maybe. A little bit of life. Do you think in this Pittsburgh game, they're going to get that run game going?
I hope. I mean, listen, I just think our offensive line is still not that built that way. I don't understand. I thought when we got Saffold, it would help, especially running on that left side. And maybe we don't do that as much, and maybe that's Ken Dorsey should try running it to the outside a little bit more instead of between the tackles. If you watch us play, we get blown up in the middle. I don't understand why we continue to do runs up the middle, draws. They just don't.
Hold on. We'll talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
After this, we'll talk about that because I got a whole theory on it.
Yeah, it's fine. So it just doesn't work, at least from what I see. I think we should try to run to the outside a little bit more. Use our offensive line. Our offensive line is built to run. They're athletic enough to get to the outside. Mitch Morse is a great pin and pull center. A lot of Josh Allen's runs, you see the better runs he does is to the outside because the offensive line runs very well. They're very athletic to get to the outside. I just don't know in between the tackles. I don't know why, but they just don't. It's just not there.
To me, Bates should be replaced by Quisenberry. Bates is a weakling.
I don't mind Bates. I like Bates, but I agree with you as far as maybe right now in their career or right now, maybe Quisenberry can do a better job, but there's more to it than that. Not only that, I feel like sometimes the run works in the beginning, and I don't know why, but they'll run a few more plays. It doesn't really work, and then they totally go away from it. And that's kind of play calling, right? So Ken Dorsey needs to open it up a little bit more.
And patience. You and I, we were talking about this before we got on air.
Yeah.
The run game, you've got to be patient.
Yeah.
It's like body blows in a boxing match.
Yeah.
You've got to bring that body blow early, and you keep bringing them, and it slowly will suck the wind out of the fighter.
Yeah.
You've got to let Saffold and Dawkins, let them hit these guys.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I don't get with Bill's offensive coordinators. You've got this amazing talent. You've got the skills behind them, but it always feels like and you got a great defense, but it always feels like the offense, we got to score now, we got to score. It's always this insane attack mode with no patience, like you're nervous. And the run game is something where you have to have patience. You have to run on the right downs and settings. Yeah. And there never seems to be a great feel and patience for the run game. And I think you could run the football.
Well,
but it's got to be, just like if Allen throws on first down, the defense knows you're throwing on first down, and you get an incompletion, it's better to get that 2 to 3 yards if you don't think that's the greatest thing since sliced bread on a first down with Gillum. I don't know why he's not used as a fullback. They have him catching more than blocking.
Well, he is a fullback, but Reggie Gilliam.
I know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't understand why we don't use him more in run blocking, but I don't understand why Singletary is not ran more because he is the best running back on that team. I told you from the beginning, Zach Moss, I'm not saying he's terrible, but he's not the answer. Like Singletary should get minimum 14, 15 carries a game minimum. Like he should get those carries. He's not a bad running back. His average is like 4.6, I believe, 4.5, something like that. That's pretty damn good. I just feel like the
problem is he gets 10 carries a game, and then Josh gets 10 carries.
If that. Sometimes he gets 7, 6.
That's insane.
Yeah,
your running backs.
Yeah,
not Allen. Your running backs should get 20 carries split up amongst
or
them.
some. I agree.
Maybe 4 or 5 for Allen if you want to be crazy and put your hair down.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, I will say this though: last season we did eventually pick the running game up. If you go back, watch us towards the tail end of the season, after that Tampa game, you could see Singletary's numbers popped. He was being used. Yeah. He was running the ball 19 to 20 times a game. He was really playing at a higher level. And maybe that'll get that. It's early in the season. I
Yeah.
told you before about Dorsey. You got to cut him a little slack because he is a rookie OC.
I
No matter
totally
how
agree.
you see it, he's going to go through these bumps in the road. And I still don't think he opened up the playbook totally yet because I still think he's trying to get the basics down and do it right. Like where he's
he's in a process. He's in a learning process. And the fact that you're
exactly.
3-1 with a rookie OC,
right,
it's a good thing.
Tells
That's
you a lot.
I agree with you on that.
And injuries.
Oh, crazy. All right, so here, Earl Dodge had a question. So your receiving core is exploded. They got the nuclear bomb dropped on them.
Oh, you got you got adult. That's an adult.
Oh, that's an adult thing? Oh, I didn't know that was being nice.
So tell your chat to report it and then it'll go away.
Yeah, chat. Listen to Tommy report it. I thought it was being nice.
That's not your sponsor, Chat 69.
I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. I'm like,
we got a new sponsor here, guys. Chat 69.
I'm a black and white. I still use my black and white TV with the rabbit ears, man. That's high tech for me. I'm just kidding, but sort of. Really.
AM radio. That old school, the headphones with the antenna.
That's right. Yeah. I send my kids out, and when I want them to come home, I put the smoke signals.
Right.
All right, so you got what's the
okay? So
receivers,
right so Stephon Diggs, no doubt playing. Obviously, he's Gabriel Davis is still dealing with the ankle. He'll play. I wish they won it. I wish they would sit Gabriel Davis at least one more week. He is not right. He hasn't been right since he got injured in practice. So, but they're going to play him. Dawson Knox, tight end, is out. Isaiah McKenzie is, I believe, going to play, but he's still in concussion protocol. So basically, coach said we'll see if he gets out. But he was in a different. I think he has to wear like a certain jersey, and it was off today. So I think he's out. Right. Yeah. So I think he'll play. Crowder's out for the season, more than likely, but he's placed on IR.
Why'd you guys sign Beasley?
No, he retired, by the way.
I know.
Yeah. Jake Kumaro, high ankle sprain. He won't be back for probably 3-4 weeks.
How's Shakir? What about Shakir? It's his time, right?
Yes. So that's where I'm getting to. So Khalil Shakir, and I told you about him. Remember when I told you in the offseason, I said, watch this kid from Boise State. Quiet guy. He's not like one of those flashy receivers, but he has really good hands and route running. He is very solid. He came in last week. If you watched that Ravens game, things weren't going so good, right? And when Crowder broke his ankle, Shakir had to come in. And by the way, Shakir, great punt returner as well. Very solid punt return. He, reliable. He's not going to make the mistake. He's going to know where to field the ball. That's awesome to have as well. But anyways, he came into a game that was very close, and I felt like the moment wasn't too big for him. He came in, he made 2 really big plays for the offense when the offense needed him, and that's a good sign for him because that kind of game, rookie receiver, just came first time playing in a regular season game, and he made 2 big plays. So I think you're going to see a lot of good things from Shakir moving forward. And, I think this week you'll see a lot of Shakir because Crowder's gone. McKenzie may not play. We'll see. And
this is the perfect. If you think about it,
this is the perfect game.
Time to actually run the football too, because you got such a depleted receiving group. But I'm going to watch Shakir. You did point me to him, and I actually, when I watched some of your preseason, I was actually very, very impressed with the kid.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like he's probably like our future slot guy, but he also could play outside. Go watch his college highlights at Boise State. Man, he was really, really good. So I'm excited for him.
Earl Dodge was saying we should have kept. You guys should have kept Blackshear. Who's Blackshear?
He's a running back. I really liked him. And we actually picked him. We picked him back up. Raheem Blackshear, I believe his name was. We picked him back up. But he got scooped back up off our practice squad. I forget where he's playing now, but he's on our roster now. He got picked up
53.
again, so he's not on. But it's not the running back. Like I always tell people that.
I think it's more offensive line.
It's the offensive lineman, and it's also play calling,
Yeah.
and it's maybe play
Patience.
design. Yeah,
Look,
that's all. So yeah,
Tommy,
go ahead.
I was never a big. I went to. I played at junior college for a little bit. You know, the old Pee Wees all the way up to like a little junior college. So I'm not like, I got some grand expertise as being a running back, but I was pretty good. I had a very good talent, but a 2-cent brain. But I remember getting that football, and it wasn't like I could get it just once. I had to get into it. I had to get some hits. I had to get the
flow.
Yes, I
had a rhythm.
The quarterbacks need rhythm, but so do the running backs.
100%. And so do the offensive linemen for run blocking.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, too, is an offensive coordinator, and this is why I love Shane Gailey. The really, 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 really good coordinators are always thinking three-dimensional. They're thinking the micro within the game, within the drive, within the corner, the game itself. But then they're also thinking the long haul of the season. You need to have success to grow in something so you can have further success. And I think that the lack of actual running the football is not getting anybody in the rhythm. And it's just putting it all in his hands. These linemen need to feel the success of running the football. They need to get that practice. And the running backs, too, within that game. And I just think that that's going to be the key for you guys. I mean, I'd rather have you win than Kansas City or the Patriots or whatever. I want my team to win. But for me, I've been saying it for a long time. I needed that. When I ran the football, and I hated, like I was on some teams, and it was like, they're just going to pass. And like, oh, here's a football. And then, quarter later, and it's like, it just doesn't work that way with running backs, really.
I think, like I said, I think as the season goes on, you'll start to see Singletary use more like he was last season. I believe it will be. They have every time they talk about him though. They nothing but praise for him because I will give him credit. If you look at the last 2 games, Singletary's up there in receiving. I think he was against the Dolphins. He was our number 1 receiver, and last week he was our second. So they're using him a lot more, just not so much running. But we'll see. We'll see.
Right,
Cook needs some work, by the way.
Yeah. I still think that, he's a guy
he needs to bulk up.
Yeah,
he has to bulk up too, though.
Oh, big time. Yeah. He's a scat back at this stage.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So, I guess you think the Bills are going to beat the Steelers?
I do. Listen, you're going against Kenny Pickett, a rookie quarterback who kind of struggled last week. I don't know too much about him. I know he's from Pittsburgh. I know the Steeler fans are excited. Listen, they haven't been playing very well anyway, so why not throw him in there now? I don't know if it's the smartest thing to go against a Leslie Frazier defense that eats rookie quarterbacks alive. I think we're 7-2 or 7-1 against rookie quarterbacks under Frazier. Frazier's going to bring a lot of different looks, and it could get ugly if he's just turning the ball over. Because if turning the ball over, you know how that goes. Usually the team that turns the ball over the most lose. So I just feel like if they're smart, they rely on Najee Harris a little bit, and their defense has to keep him in the game, because the problem is if the defense doesn't and we get a good lead going, they're going to have to rely on Kenny Pickett, and that's going to be the problem for them, because I don't think he's ready quite yet. This is his first career start. He didn't look too hot last week. He made some bad decisions. I like that he throws the ball up there and gives his receivers a chance, but that doesn't always work out. And look at Jameis Winston. He does that a lot, and he has a ton of turnovers, and that's why he's where he's at in his career. So
you got you're the score man. You're the score man. What's the score?
Yeah, so I'm gonna say. Listen, the weather's good in Buffalo. From what I saw, that's a good thing for Josh Allen and his Bills offense. I'm gonna say 38-13. The Pittsburgh Steelers don't score much. Their offense is not very good. They got a middle of the pack offensive line going against a very strong defensive line. I think Ed Oliver will be back as well, which is huge for us.
What about Phillips? Is Phillips back?
Jordan Phillips, I doubt. He's still dealing with a hamstring. He was limited all week, so I doubt you see him. But Ed Oliver coming back is a big deal. Tremaine Edmonds has a hamstring issue. He may not play, but you still got Matt Milano in there. You still got Von Miller in there. You got, by the way, Gregory Rousseau is having a very good season so far to start the season. He's showing improvement.
Do you guys,
Daquan Jones. Yeah, I mean,
do you guys think you're going to keep? You think you're going to keep Tremaine Edmonds?
It's going to boil down to the Poyer thing too, man. I think it's tricky, man, because I like Edmonds. I do. Edmonds is young still. He's big. He's strong. He's fast. He leads the team in tackles every season since he's been a rookie. He's our play caller on defense, but it all boils down to what he thinks his value is at the end of the season. And Poyer, listen, even though his age is getting up there, he's done nothing but get better each season. So I don't necessarily go by age when it comes to people are so caught up on the age thing. There's players playing at a high level at certain ages, and not every player, starts to dip down because they get older. Von Miller's still playing it. Now, is Von Miller the same Denver Bronco Miller? No, but Jordan Poyer is a playmaker, and he's been and he's a leader on the defense. So especially, Curtis, if Micah Hyde doesn't return, that's big, and you want to have a veteran like Jordan Poyer back there with a younger guy, let's say a DeMar Hamlin, that would fill in for Micah Hyde. So I don't know. I'm torn on that because you can only sign so many people back, right? So if it was me, my call, I would feel more comfortable because I think you get Poyer a little cheaper than Edmonds, and I think Edmonds will wind up taking a big payday somewhere else. I see it happening that way. I could be wrong. They could sign both. I don't know.
Well, I think if you lost Hyde, you have to sign Poyer.
Right. And I could see I could see a deal getting done similar to Von Miller, not that big of a contract, but similar, like a 4-year deal where it's really a 3-year deal with a 4th-year option or a way to get out of that 4th year, something like that with a good guarantee. So I think they get a deal done, and I have a feeling they get the deal done this season, Curtis, because the way Poyer's playing, by the way, leading the league in interceptions, it's only going to get higher, right?
Yes.
His contract value or what he's going to want. So get the deal done if you could somehow do it, and then worry about Edmonds in the off season and work your money or whatever you got, the cap. Bean's good with that. So that's how I would do it, but who knows? I don't know.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. It's going to be a big week. Just imagine if the Bills lose, Dolphins lose, and somehow the Jets are number 1 in the AFC East.
Dude, that ain't happening, but
I know.
I don't know what I would say. I don't know.
Woo.
Twilight Zone.
So Tommy, tell us about you. I mean, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you about you first. I'm going to tell you about you first, guys. I'm going to tell you. Tommy is a great, great guy. He's got great talent. He's so easy on the camera. He's got a great channel. He does all kind of great stuff over Mafia Sports Report. He's a real. I'm pretty honest guy, and if I don't like you, I'll tell you a nice way. It's okay. I mean, it's not personal. Well, it's a little personal, but it's not. But I really do like you, Tommy. I think I've seen a lot of people in my life. I really think you're a great guy, and you got a lot to offer on your channel. So if you're a Bills fan or a football fan, check Tommy out. All right, now Tommy, it's your show. You can do what you got to do.
And by the way, I feel the same about you. You know that. So me and Curtis had that connection since kind of day one.
Yeah.
since we initially video chatted. I think we video chatted for like an hour. We didn't even do a podcast. We just
No.
sat there and talked football.
You're a gambler like me.
Yeah. So, guys, so Mafia Sports Report, it's not all Bills related. I do have, like on Wednesdays, I have a guys called Rally Towel Sports, which, by the way, they have their own YouTube, so check them out as well. But they are Bengals and Browns fans and Steelers. And I have them do a show on Wednesday. They do a simulcast, and it's a great show, man. They do a lot of fun, different things. So that's that. I also have a wrestling podcast on Tuesdays for any pro wrestling fans out there. Also, I'm working with, and something really cool and unique and different. I talked to Curtis about it. A podcast called Mafia Means Family, and it's going to be it's basically a mother and son. The kid's 10 years old. 10 years old. And he's a big diehard Buffalo Bills fan at Bills Mafia, and it's just unique. It brings a different thing to the platform, and I just think it will be fun. And then I have my Saturday show, which is AFC Shakedown. Curtis sometimes join me. Yeah, and that's we have Trevor and Juan. They cover the Patriots. We have Captain D covers the Dolphins. I don't have a Jets guy. I thought I did. I don't. But yeah, man. So I do a lot of cool different things, man. It's not all Buffalo Bills related all the time. So and that's it really. And I come on here with Curtis. We do the NFL overtime. We do it on his show.
Your channel next week.
That's right. So we go Ace per head, then we go Mafia Sports Board. So just week after week. So we just try to have fun. Me and Curtis, same thing. And that's it, man. Other than that, if you guys want to subscribe. If not, I understand.
I got a funny for you, right? So, like, I'm a pretty smart guy, but I'm also like a monkey. I know it. Like, I'm totally cool with it. So I got two computers here, but they're set at two different times. And the computer I'm looking at, it says 10:41. I'm like, we've been on for 2 hours. We got to get off.
No, that would be unbelievable.
Like, I must have talked an hour and a half for the Bills fans. The Dolphin fans must be angry. So, but we've been on for an hour and 10 minutes. But I thought it was 2 hours and 10 minutes.
No, you thought that's why you're wrapping up?
I got confused. That's what I'm saying.
That would be the most unbelievable, fast, flying show I've ever been on.
I'm special, dude.
No, I want to actually. You didn't get to your Dolphin game, so you guys play. We did talk about the Dolphins. How did real quick before we get off the Bengals game? I never did ask you about your thoughts on that Bengals game.
So we should have won.
Okay,
I mean, Edmonds dropped the touchdown in the end zone, like the easiest touchdown. He that was it should have been a touchdown. And then before Tua gets injured, they were driving down, and Waddle had 2 drops that should have been first downs, and that would have put us like at the 20. And so there's a chance for another touchdown. And then if Tua didn't get knocked out, we really had their number.
It seemed like it. It seemed
pressing on them. We should have won that one. And then you never know, but reading the tea leaves, we should have had that one. And that was the whole game. I mean, then Howard went out in the third quarter after he got beat, and they had a really great plan. They were doubling up everybody and leaving Howard on his own. And eventually, the last bit of thread came off that hamstring or groin. He got beat deep on the one, and he was gone. And then it was just like easy pickings.
Is there any upsets you see this week real quick before we get off? So let me go through some games real quick. So we didn't really fly through the games. So I'll fly through the games we can get off. So Giants, Green Bay. Giants have actually, 3-1. You got to give Dable, I can't believe I'm saying it, some credit.
He's running the football now.
They are and they're playing well. I did not see them going 3-1. At Green Bay, what do you think? Green Bay is not I think Green Bay is not that good, in my opinion. I think they squeezed out a win last week. Who did they play last week? They barely won.
They barely beat somebody.
It was an overtime, I believe, correct?
Yeah,
let me see here. New England, 27-24 against
because they had Zap. They had Mr. Zap as their quarterback.
Yes, who's playing this weekend, by the way.
Yeah.
So do you see an upset alert there? Giants at Green Bay, or you think Green Bay will win at home?
I think Green Bay will win.
Okay, and then let's go to this is an interesting game, actually. Lions at New England. So Lions offense have been doing well. Their defense, not so well. But the Patriots, they bring it, right? Belichick always brings a defense, and they've been keeping them in games, but they also probably have a third-string quarterback. You see how do you see the game swinging there?
I kind of, of course I'd like to see Detroit win, but I think they're going to be playing in an open environment. The Patriots are probably just going to run the football up the yin-yang.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Belichick, I've always been impressed with him, but when you go back and study what he did with Miami in week 1 and how he put together the game plan and the calls were made, I really had a different respect for him. Like I don't know, for some reason, just some lights flashed. Like they were already flashing, but they got a little bit brighter. And this guy could do some stuff. And so Detroit, if they got a weakness on defense, I think it can be exposed. Zapp's just going to hand the football a whole awful lot. And I think they're going to play it tight to the vest, close game. And I think they're going to win. Because if they lose here, the season's almost lost. They've got to win.
1-4 is not a good start.
They've got to win this game.
So to his Earl chimed in. Yeah, Bills won. I get that, but if you go back to Green Bay's have been tight games at I think every game this season. I think they beat the Bucks 12-10 the week prior. Yeah. Their offense is not looking good. The Bills games, first 2 weeks of it were blowouts, and we just suffered through some injuries. I'm not going to always use that as an excuse, but you gotta say it does take a little.
It's context to the situation.
It takes a little bit of an effect. So it is a little bit of a difference. I think Green Bay's offense is just they don't have enough firepower, in my opinion, and that's why their games are super close. And I think this game will be super close too, by the way, for the Green Bay. So I think Green Bay wins because they're at home, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Giants win.
I think Green Bay's got a pretty good. I think to me, their
defense is playing well.
Yeah, what I think, and I got to go back and watch. I really wanted to watch more football, and I'm trying to get more organized to study more games. But they got what looks like a pretty good defense, and they're asking Aaron Rodgers to kind of win those close games and get that little extra with the reduced. And I just think that they're still headed in the right direction.
Yeah, I see the Lions, by the way, edging out New England. I think the Lions offense is going to do just enough because New England's offense is going to struggle. How
are they winning, through the air or on the ground?
They're Swift is out, which was a huge injury, but they've been winning in the air. And a lot of these not winning, they're 1-3.
Good pass defense again.
But they're scoring points because they're having to air it out. You know what I mean?
Don. Thank you.
So that's that. But I think the Lions win, and I don't even think that's not an upset. They're both 1-3. So you know what I mean? I wouldn't even consider that an upset. Then you got two more games. So Dallas at Rams. So I don't think Dak's back yet. I think they're going to play him the next week. But Rush has been playing well enough for them to win. And Rams are 2-2. They don't look the same either.
Offensive line ain't the same, baby.
Not since the one guy retired. So what do you see there? You see Cowboys coming to the Rams and upsetting them with Rush as a backup?
Well, if Micah Parsons, I mean, this guy's a real special talent. And, anytime you've got a special talent that can get to the quarterback and do a pretty good job of stopping the run, and you've got a suspect offensive line, you can't write any checks, man. So I'm actually going to watch that game because this guy Parsons is on a real special run. And I don't know. I'm not that huge a fan of the Rams. Last year, they were just really loaded. They had everything.
Picked up some good players.
And it was the offensive line too, So
yeah.
I think they're going to win. The Rams are going to win. Stafford just has that extra than what's the rookie dude or the young guy they got over there with Dallas.
Yeah.
But it's Parsons is going to be the one because Stafford likes to make mistakes, man. You get in his pocket, chase him around.
Oh, 100%.
And you never know what's going to happen. So,
100%.
and then they got what's his face, that kid with all the picks. How's he doing this year? I haven't watched it. I haven't watched one Dallas game this year. What's
Rush you're talking about?
The cornerback that's got the brother.
Oh, Diggs.
Diggs. Yeah, you're a guy.
Yeah, his brother. I don't know how he's doing. I know Poyer leads the league. I think he has 3. I could be wrong, but I think he has 3 interceptions on the year. He's a risk taker. You know that. He jumps the ball.
He's like Howard.
The problem is if he misses it, that's when it becomes a problem. Then you got the Bengals at Baltimore. So the Bengals
a really good game,
2-2. It is. And Baltimore 2-2. Baltimore by the way, Baltimore lost 5 straight at home. It's another home game. They're potentially
Harbaugh is wet in the bed this year for coaching, in my opinion.
Man, so
a lot of
if they lose, that's 6 games at home in a row.
That's not good.
That is not good. And the Bengals, they're not looking too hot either. But they did win last week. Win's a win. So what do you see here? You think the Bengals edge it out in Baltimore and Baltimore goes down? Or you think Baltimore has a nice comeback here, considering what happened the last 2 weeks?
Bengals are really hurting without DJ Reader. DJ Reader's special, man. He changes that defense. He's probably the 3rd best player on that team. And that offensive line is bad, man. You got Collins or whatever his name is, the guy from Dallas. He's terrible at right tackle. And then you got the other guy, the small little dude who should be a guard. They got him at left tackle, and that guy gets beat on everything. They're right inside. They got Volson and Kappa from Tampa over right guard, and they got a pretty good center, Okaris. But those tackles are trash, man. I said to respectfully, they're really struggling. I hate to say trash to anybody who's on the NFL, but Burrow, man, I love him, but I think he's going to explode at some point.
Baltimore's defense isn't the best either, though. They had a good game plan last week. They can
get to the quarterback a little bit. They can get to, but maybe not. I don't know. Man. I don't know. That's you got to remember too. Want to watch.
And you got Burrow, who's a pass-heavy cornerback. You got Chase, who can light it up, going against one of the.
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say. I'm sorry. I got it. I'm going to go because I like those 2 edge plays they got over the Bengals to help try to contain Lamar, who's not really running as much anymore, and they got pretty good corners. I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Yeah, I think
Burrow's going to.
I agree. I think Baltimore winds up losing a 6 straight at home. I think Bengals edge it out. I don't know if it's going to be
in my fantasy team, so I don't care as long as he puts up a lot of points.
I think it'll be close. Do you have an upset with Philly and Arizona? Philly playing in Arizona? Upset alert?
Arizona's terrible.
They are bad, but I have an upset alert. I think Arizona gives Philly their first loss.
Wait, that reminds me, dude, what a crazy thing. Watt having the heart attack, his heart stops.
Bro, we didn't talk. What do you feel about that? Do you think that that is
dude, it's
number one.
Certain rabbit trails that I don't want to get down into.
Yeah, but why? My thing is this. I understand.
There's a lot of people. If you notice, there's a lot of athletes around the world.
I am shocked that I'm just shocked that the Cardinals would be okay with him returning, especially that not only the Cardinals, the NFL. Like, what if hypothetically, and it didn't happen, thank God, but what if he came back and had a heart attack on the field, right? A massive heart attack. Let me tell you something. When that story got out, God forbid if that happened, you think the Tua situation was bad. That thing would have been all over the news. That thing would have been a gigantic story because how do you let a guy who almost
How is it just a
died.
blip on a radar? It's like, oh yeah, my 29-year-old stud, maybe possible Hall of Fame guy just had a heart attack this week. Oh, I'm all right. I'm back. Oh, okay.
Like 4 days
What?
later, it was quick.
What?
Like I don't get it, man. And if I'm
Something
JJ
weird's
Watt,
going on here, dude. There's
yeah,
something in the backdrop don't make sense.
and in his stage of his career, JJ Watt, like, dude, you've had a great career. You have great stats. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Hey, bro, is it worth your life?
That's
like,
so crazy.
like that's wild to me. You know what I mean?
I don't understand how it
but-
wasn't like. I don't understand. Like I said, look, you said, how is it? It was like a blip on the radar. Like, oh, I just had my head exploded. Hey, how you doing? What?
Bro,
I went in the defib, and it's like, all right, I was like I had a bad bout of gas.
Like I give him credit. Yeah, I give him the credit for being tough, but man, you're playing with your life, man. I don't get that. Like that is
Something
I am shocked the Cardinals will be
dude.
I would be, if I'm the NFL and the Cardinals, I am super worried, because if that happens on TV, live TV, this dude goes down with a massive heart attack. That is gonna be shock. That is not good, dude.
There's
Especially knowing.
Oh, I know. Dude, but what? Like, how does a guy who could play the NFL, he's like this super athlete, all of a sudden has a heart attack, goes to the defib, they bring him out, and he's like, oh, I'm okay. Like, well, what caused it? How does this happen? And nobody says nothing. It's like nothing to see. It's like you remember the old Star Wars movie? Like Obi-Wan Kenobi goes to the stormtroopers. These aren't the droids you're looking for. Move on. And the guy goes, oh, these aren't the droids you're looking for. Move on. I'm like, what happened to the story, dude?
And he talked about like, oh yeah, they just it just happened, and they just
acne.
Now it's back. I'm good now, man. What? Like he's talking about like it's a battery.
I don't know. I don't even know, dude. I don't even know.
Anyways, but that's it, Curtis. That's it for the week. As far as, so I do got an upset alert. I'm taking Arizona.
I hope you're right, man. I need the Eagles to lose so I can relax, because I can't have any undefeated seasons.
I guess one more.
Defib.
One more game. Monday Night Football. Might as well talk about it real quick. Raiders 1-3 got the first win over the Broncos. Sorry, Broncos last week. Going against the Chiefs 3-1. I mean, I think the Chiefs win. What about you in KC? Okay. All right, that's it. That's our show.
All right, guys. Thank you for staying around. I appreciate it. You guys are the best. Catch us next time. Next week will be over Tommy's Mafia Sports Report, 9:30 Eastern Time. Thanks, guys. Have a good week. Enjoy football on Sunday and Monday, and I will catch you all.
Go Bills. Go Bills. Go Bills. Go Bills.
Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, on that note. Good night, guys.
Later, guys. Go Bills.